Good morning. So it's February and it's time to plant seeds. It's not a bad idea to get these seeds planted and do this process that we're going to do today earlier. You could even start in December for this. So these are tree seeds, and some trees are hard. It's hard to get the seeds to grow. You just plant the seed, it doesn't grow. And then 5 years later, all of a sudden, the seed grows. Because trees will scatter their seeds, and a lot of times they stay in the environment for a long time. So I'm just going to show you what seeds I have here. And I'll just talk a little bit about this, and then I'll show you how to do this process that we're going to do to get these seeds going. So all of these species, we're going to plant them this spring and try to grow them. I have 1,000 pots to put these trees in. And I'm going to set up a nursery between our greenhouses out here where we're going to try to grow these this summer. And then we're going to be planting them up in the foothills. And we're going to, the plan is to plant, you know, a few thousand trees every year. We're starting out with about 1,000 this year. But here are the species that we have here. This is the Caucasian pear, and so that's like a flowering pear. And I wanted flowering trees to help the ecology. I want the pollinators, the bees, the wasps, other insects, hummingbirds, things that need flowers. I want to help to increase the diversity of the wildlife, so I got a lot of flowering trees. So that was the flowering pear. This is a flowering crabapple. And then we have an Osage orange, the ginkgo biloba, the honey locust, and then that's penstemon. So this isn't a tree, these are penstemon seeds. But let's see what they say. Yeah, these ones need to be stratified also for 30 days. Okay, good. So we'll stratify these guys. And then persimmons. So some of these packets have about 10 seeds in them, 10 to 15 seeds. And some of the packets have probably a couple hundred seeds. So that's pretty fun. We're also going to be planting apricot seeds and peach seeds that I have saved also. But today we're going to get these going. So there's two things that we want to do. There's a process called scarification, and you can remember that word because you scar this really tough outer coating of the seed. And that's why it can sometimes take 2 or 3 years for this to sprout, is because things in the soil like fungus or something else, or going through the digestive system of an animal, would scarify this to the point where it would sprout. The second word is stratification. So we're going to scarify it and we're going to stratify. So to stratify, we would put these in the fridge, or we would put them in a cold place like a cold room, a garage, somewhere like that. We would just store them and they would stay moist, so they think they're in the ground. We trick them to think that they're in the ground. And this is something that nurseries do all the time. It's a standard practice. I've not seen this a lot in the home gardening world. But so we're just going to start. So here's this persimmon, and this says what to do. So to scarify, we soak in water. We let stand in the water for 24 hours. So that's all we have to do for the scarification. And then to cold stratify, it says 90 days. So it needs to be in the fridge for 90 days. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to jam these in the fridge. So that'll be great. So here we go. This is which one? This is the persimmon. Not very many seeds in there. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 seeds in that one. And that's the persimmon. So I'm going to get my marker. I wonder if I have a marker. Looking for a black one. So I'm just going to write right on this jar, persimmon. Some of these seeds look similar, and so I write on the jar so I don't mix up what species it is. So there's the persimmon. So it's ready to go, and we're going to add water. So this is the scarification. So they're going to soak in that water. And then tomorrow, we'll get these out. We'll put them in a paper towel. And then in a Ziploc bag. And on the Ziploc bag, I will write persimmon. And then they go in the fridge. You just put them in the paper towel that's wet. And in a Ziploc bag. And then put them in the fridge. Okay, these are penstemons. So how do we scarify? Soak in water. Let stand for 24 hours. Scarification or stratification is to cold stratify for 30 days. So 30 days, and then we want to start them. So if I do these today, they'll be ready to plant in the soil in 30 days. What is today's date? I better find that out. Today is the 8th of February, so 30 days is basically going to be approximately the 8th of March. So yeah, we can start these penstemons right now. So here we go. All the seed goes in there. I don't know how much seed there is. Oh, and in case you don't know, penstemons are a wildflower. They're a beautiful wildflower. And there's a lot of different species of penstemons. You know what? That may not be true. The species might be, technically the species might be penstemon, but there's a lot of different varieties. So penstemon. P-E-N-S-T-A-M-O-N. Penstemon. But penstemons are good because they feed a lot of wildlife. Okay, so penstemons are done. So the honey locust, this one's hard, and it's scary to think that this would work. To scarify these ones, we have to pour boiling water over the seed. Let it stand in water for 24 hours. Repeat the process on seed that did not imbibe. Imbibe is spelled I-M-B-I-B-E. It's just a plant science word, and it means that the seeds they soaked up water. So if they don't soak up the water, then we have to put boiling water over them again. And sometimes the boiling water treatment doesn't work. And so they say to use a sulfuric acid treatment if it doesn't work. So these honey locust seeds, they're hard to plant. They're hard to get to grow, which is pretty awesome. And then once we do that, the stratification, there's no stratification required. So when do we actually want to plant these guys? So what we would do, we pour the boiling water over them. You let it stand for 24 hours. And then if the seed isn't squishy, if it's still just as hard as a rock, it should be a little bit spongy and you can tell that it imbibed. If it didn't imbibe, we do it again. But then we just plant it directly in the potting soil. And I'm putting them in pots. So we're not going to soak this one in water. We're going to wait a couple of months until we're ready to plant these, and then we'll just pour the hot water on them, and then we wait for the next day, and we'll see if the imbibed ones, we will plant those. So this one does not get planted today. Well, none of them get planted today, but we're not going to put this one in water today. So the ginkgo tree, and I only have a few seeds in here, like 10 or something. Scarification, soak in water, let stand for 24 hours. stratification for 60 days. So that's the same thing we're doing with these others. So we're just gonna, we'll put these ginkgos right here. The ginkgo, G-I-N-K-G-O. G-I-N-K-G-O. So these trees were found in the fossil record when the dinosaurs were alive. So this is an ancient tree. Let me count the seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 seeds. Oh, I almost dropped that bottle. I better be careful. I almost had glass shattering everywhere. Okay, here we go. This one is the Osage Orange. When I lived in Missouri, I loved these trees. They were so interesting. But they had the most beautiful yellow wood on the inside. The wood doesn't rot. It makes a beautiful bow, like for bows and arrows. These are awesome trees, so I wanted to grow some here and see if they'll grow. Scarification, none required. So we don't have to do anything to that. And then stratification, cold stratify for 30 days. But we don't have to scarify these. So these just need to be frozen for 30 days. So I can leave it in the packet like this, and I'll stick it in the fridge. Here we go. Okay, this one is the crabapple. And these ones came from Bulgaria, which is fun. So we'll get some new genetics here, you know, in the US. It'll be great. Scarification. Soak in water, let stand for 24 hours. Stratified. Cold stratified for 60 to 120 days. Wow, 120 is a long time. So starting these in December would have been a good idea. Okay, so these are going in the jar. And we're soaking them for 24 hours, and this is the crabapple. Crabapple. No, there's probably 200 seeds in there. There's a pretty good amount. So we're soaking those guys. And the last one is the flowering pear. And these ones come from the Ukraine. It's a good thing I got them now before the Russians invade. Shouldn't laugh about that. The world's falling apart. It's one reason we're planting all this stuff, is so we can feed everybody when the world goes crazy. It's already gone crazy. My wife went shopping May, 2 weeks ago, and like half of the store had empty shelves. I don't know, it's crazy. So I don't know what's going on where you live, but there's crazy things happening in different parts of the country. Okay, so this is flowering pear. Soak in water for 24 hours, cold stratify for 90 days. And this is the pear. Okay, that's it. There we go. I wonder if I need to stratify or scarify my milkweed seed. I have a bunch of milkweed seed. Huh. While I'm at it, I'm gonna scarify and stratify some milkweed seed. I have no idea if we have to do that. I could jump online and find out, but I'm just gonna test it real quick. So I'm gonna grab that seed out and see what we can do. Here's the milkweed seed. I got these from Daniel. And there's all this fluffy, the beautiful fluffy stuff. And I don't know how to separate the seeds from the fluff. So this is gonna be a mess. Oh man, these things are gonna be flying everywhere all over my laboratory. Oh. There has to be a better way to work with this stuff. I wonder if these are an allergen. Like cottonwood is that cottony, has that stuff that floats around in there, and some people have allergies from that. Okay, so there's some milkweed. We're gonna let that. Oh, it's tickling me. Oh man. I don't know if these are, it's like it's waterproof. I don't know if the water is penetrating through that fluffy stuff. That's interesting. Anyway, I'm not going to write on those because I know what those are. I wonder if there's any other seeds I have that I want to start that would help be good to do this process with. I wonder if I should do this to my apricots and peaches. Let's do an internet search right now and find out. Do apricot seeds sprout better if you scarify them? Well, Google doesn't know what scarify means. It probably doesn't know what stratify means. Or I'm too silly to know how to properly look it up. It's hard when you're studying scientific stuff because if you don't get into the right places to find the right articles, just normal Google searches don't work very good. So that's frustrating. But anyway, here we are. Okay, it's been 24 hours. So now we're going to put these seeds inside of a paper towel, and then we'll put them inside of the plastic bag, and then we're going to put them in the fridge. So we're just going to figure this out real quick, and it's going to be great. Okay, so this is the persimmon. So I'm pouring the water off, but I don't want the seeds to come out. Okay, all the water is gone. So now I'm going to grab a paper towel and put the seeds on there, and we're just going to fold it to keep them moist. And it's probably not moist enough. It probably needs a little more. We want to kind of saturate this paper towel a little bit. And then we slip it inside the Ziploc bag. Like that. And then we're going to write persimmon on here. Persimmon. I want to keep these guys. If these bags were a little bit bigger, I could just put them back in here. I wonder if they'd fit. Some of them won't fit with a paper towel around them, so I'm finding the one that says persimmon, and I'm just gonna tape it on here. Like that. If I had a stapler, I'd staple it, but you know, I don't think I own a stapler. So I'm just gonna hook it on like that. There we go. So the persimmon's done. Now this will go in the refrigerator. And so that's the same thing that I'm gonna do to every one of these. Here's the ginkgo. There goes the water. I'm going to leave a little bit of water in there because my paper towel was too dry a second ago. Fold it like that. And there's the seeds. And ginkgo. And we're going to set it in there. Like that. And get the tape out. And find the package. And here it is. So that's it. So we're going to stick these in the fridge.